the destined spring, and scale the stars upon my broken wing. It was Gokhale who introduced Sarojini Naidu to Gandhiji in London in 1914. She immediately came under the spell of the little man whom she looked upon as a crusader. She joined the band of crusaders and became their bard and minstrel. Alongside the national struggle, the women's movement had also forged ahead. On the 15th of December 1917, Sarojini Naidu led a deputation of women to meet Edwin Montagu, the Secretary of State for India. Montagu's diary for that day makes piquant reading. The deputation was led by Mrs. Naidu, a very attractive and clever woman, but I believe a revolutionary at heart. The massacre at Jallianwala Bagh stunned a whole nation. Addressing a gathering in London in 1920, Sarojini told her British audience, "No nation that rules by tyranny is free. It is the slave of its own despotism." Oppression again took her to South Africa, where Indians were harshly treated and suffered racial discrimination. Wherever she went, she was greeted by tumultuous crowds. Her speeches electrified audiences. Back in India, Gandhiji proposed her name for the presidency of the Congress at the Kanpur session in October 1925. Addressing the session, she said, "I who have rocked the cradle, I who have sung soft lullabies, am now to kindle the flame of liberty." She told an enthralled audience, "In the battle of liberty, fear is one unforgivable treachery, and despair the one unforgivable sin." Her eloquence gained worldwide acclaim. To the New York Times, she was a Joan of Arc who rose to inspire India. Sarojini arrived in New York in the autumn of 1928 as an emissary of Gandhi and immediately set out on a whirlwind lecture tour of the New World to explain to Americans the ideals and aspirations of the Indian people. The Americans hailed her as a jewel from the East. When the wandering singer returned home, Gandhiji was preparing for his memorable march to Dandi to break the salt law. After Gandhiji and Abbas Tayyibji were arrested, the leadership of the movement fell to Sarojini Naidu. She said, "We ask no quarter, and we shall give none. I shall cut the barbed wire with pliers, and seize the salt with my own hands." As the movement spread, so did the repression. Hundreds died, and 60,000 were jailed. Sarojini Naidu was lodged in the Yerawada jail. After the Gandhi-Irwin Pact, Gandhiji, along with Sarojini, sailed for London on August the 29th, 1931, to attend the second Roundtable Conference. The conference failed. "I have never attended anything more disappointing and dull in every way," remarked Sarojini. On her return, she was again arrested in Bombay, but soon released because of her precarious health. United with her family in Hyderabad, she was drawn into the social and cultural life of her hometown. It was during this time that Tagore came there and the two friends met again. Back in the fray, Sarojini Naidu threw herself zealously into the feminist movement, urging women to participate in the romance and adventure of Swadeshi. Meanwhile, Hitler's hordes had overrun Europe, and the failure of the Cripps mission led to the last decisive phase of India's struggle for independence. On the 9th of August, all the national leaders were arrested. During the long prison term, Sarojini was indomitable. Not even Bapu had realized up to this time the full richness of her nature. Sarojini's health broke down and was unconditionally released. The war had ended in Europe, and the Labour government resumed talks with Indian national leaders. Hindu-Muslim riots broke out throughout the country. Gandhiji set out on a pilgrimage to Noakhali. From Shantiniketan, Sarojini sent her affirmation of love and faith to the beloved pilgrim. Her election as the president of the Asian Relations Conference was another milestone in her political life. The conference was held in the historic Purana Killa in New Delhi. It was an unprecedented gathering, and Sarojini Naidu rose to the occasion with her usual brilliance.
India is not a civilization of one unit. India today is not Hindu India, because the stream that came from Western Asia, the stream that came with all its gifts from the Arab world, the great democratic ideals that came in the wake of the Arab traders to India, all those influenced the introspective philosophy, and by learning from us, taught us great ideals of brotherhood.
The 15th of August, 1947, India's Independence Day. Sarojini Naidu was sworn in as the governor of Uttar Pradesh. As governor, Sarojini Naidu was constantly on the move, urging people to guard against the communal virus and to build a new India. She was most inspired when she spoke to the youth of the country. I, who have loved you all my life, and the older I grow, the more faith I have that the young people of the world will fulfill my dreams, my unfulfilled dreams. Sarojini Naidu was nearing 70, but her mind still retained the vigor and effervescence of her early years. On March the 2nd, 1949, Sarojini Naidu breathed her last. The whole nation was steeped in grief at the death of a beloved daughter. Mourning her death, Jawaharlal Nehru.
Here was a person of great brilliance. Here was a person vital and vivid. Here was a person with so many gifts, but above all, some gifts which made her perfectly unique. She began life as a poet. In later years, when the compulsion of events drew her into the national struggle, and she threw herself in it with all the zest and fire that she possessed, she did not write much poetry with pen and paper, but her whole life became a poem, a song.
Sarojini Naidu was fond of recalling her father's words. There is no birth and there is no death. There is